guys, it's Dom and welcome back to my channel, Managed Millennials, where we talk about managing your finances and living your best life on a budget. If any of that sounds good to you, then make sure that you click the subscribe button and also make sure that you click the bell notification so that you are aware of all of my uploads. So today I wanted to come to you guys with a video all about my bank account setup, the bank accounts that I use, how many of them that I have, and just basically how I use these accounts to organize my finances. Disclaimer, this setup that I'm about to show you is by no means the most optimum or the best way to set up your finances. Budgeting and finances is definitely a personal thing. Tailor the bank accounts that you use and the amount of accounts that you use and all that stuff. Tailor it to you and your financial needs. This just happens to be the setup that works best for me. And before we jump in, I wanted to let you guys know of a sale that I'm running on my Etsy shop right now. This Etsy shop is where I have my 2021 financial planner that I created myself, and it's where I track my weekly expenses, my monthly budget overview, and also my sinking funds. If you guys are interested in getting that financial planner, it is on sale in my Etsy shop and the link will be in the description down below. So the main banks that I use are Navy Federal and Ally Savings. I use Navy Federal for like my checking accounts and I use Ally for my savings account. I've been banking with Navy Federal since, gosh, 2003, and I think I was in like third grade then. My family is military, they're in the Navy, and so they opened this account for me a long time ago, and I've just kept it because they don't have any like weird maintenance fees. Like I've just never had any issues with Navy Federal. I used to, when I was in college, I think I banked with like BB&T, and I also used to bank with like Bank of America, and they just had these like maintenance fees, and I just feel like I was getting nickel and dimed all the time. So I decided to switch back to Navy Federal, and I have 3 checking accounts with them, and I will show you guys that on the screen now. So the first checking account that I have is labeled direct deposit, and it's pretty self-explanatory. That is just the account that my check gets deposited into twice a month. And it's not really there for anything other than just kind of like being the landing account to where my money comes into each month. After I finish going through my budget and writing out how much money I need for the next month, I will go ahead and take that amount that I budgeted and I will move it from the direct deposit account into my bills and expenses account. And that's the account that is connected to my credit cards, and that's also the checking account that some of my bills that, you know, have to be taken straight out of a bank account get taken out from. So my rent gets taken out from there, and my electricity gets taken out from there, and my car payment gets taken out from there. Every other bill that I have on credit cards, and so, you know, everything's getting charged to my credit cards, and then periodically throughout the month I will just pay off my credit card bills with the money that's in the bills and expenses account. The account that's labeled sinking funds and shared savings, I don't really use those anymore. I created the sinking funds account because originally when I was planning out how I was gonna set up my sinking funds, I was going to keep them in a checking account and I was gonna keep them in this checking account, but I kind of decided that, you know, sinking funds, at least to me, are not things that I want to be taking out from like often. It is like another savings for me, so I just decided that I was going to put those into a savings account, and I will show you how I have that set up once we move on to Ally. The shared savings account is just like an account that I think my mom set up for me when I first got this account. She is a joint owner of this account, and it was just really convenient to have this account when I was like in college or in high school, and she needed to send money to me because it is hooked up to her Navy Federal account too. And if I ever need to like send money to her, I would probably just use this account because, you know, she's a little bit older and doesn't want to be dealing with like Cash App and like Venmo and stuff. So it's just easy to send her money through here. So those are all of my checking accounts. Let's move on to my savings account. So like I mentioned before, I do have my savings with Ally, and I chose them because of their options to have a high yield savings account. And so if you are putting a large sum of money away, you definitely want to make sure you're getting an account with a bank that offers like a really good and competitive interest rate. At the time that I opened this account, I believe the interest rate was like 1.6. At the time of me filming this, the interest rate has dropped down to 0.5, and that's just in response to the pandemic that's happening right now. I think a lot of banks have lowered their interests on their savings accounts, and you know, it's to be expected, but hopefully once everything gets back to normal, the interest rate will go back up. So one thing I really love about Ally is this feature that they actually rolled out. I want to say it was the beginning of 2020, maybe it was like mid 2020, but they rolled out this new feature called buckets. So instead of, you know, opening multiple accounts, let's say you have different savings goals, instead of opening multiple accounts, you can have just one account, but you can split them into different buckets. So I will show you guys the buckets that I have in this checking or this savings account. So right now I have 3 custom buckets. You automatically have a core savings, and that's like the default bucket that your money goes into when you transfer money into this account. And then from that account, you can distribute out the amount of money you want to your different buckets. I have a bucket for emergencies, so that's where my emergency fund lives. I have a bucket for sinking funds, and I also have a bucket for general savings. I think these are pretty self-explanatory. My emergency fund is, you know, my emergency fund. Hopefully I won't ever have to dip into that unless it's a dire emergency or I lose my job or something like that. I'm working towards getting that to 6 months, which a 6-month emergency fund for me is about $10,200, and that is just counting my like bare minimum like necessity expenses in 1 month times 6. I actually have a pending transfer in my emergency account right now that should finish it off, and I will be finished with my emergency fund, and I can focus more on building up my sinking funds and building up my general savings. So my sinking funds account is the money where all my sinking funds live. If you guys watch my budgeting videos, you'll see me fill out my sinking fund spread, and all of that money just goes into this bucket. And I, you know, figure out how much money is for each sinking fund through my sinking fund budget template page. But all of the money just lives in this bucket. And then general savings is just the amount that I save each month that's not going to my sinking funds, just any leftover money. The last bank account that I want to mention is not one that I use in my monthly, you know, budgeting process, but it's one that I think is worth mentioning because it has a lot of great benefits. That is the Schwab Bank High Yield Investors account. So this account comes with the Schwab Bank Platinum Visa debit card, which has so many great benefits if you are an avid traveler. The whole point of me even opening this high yield investors checking account is not even for investing, because I invest through Fidelity, but it's to get this debit card because it has so many good travel protections. So one of the really good things about this card is you don't have any foreign transaction fees if you're making purchases overseas, but also they reimburse you for any ATM fees that you incur. And then also it has other travel protections like fraud protection and travel insurance and stuff like that. So the only thing about this card that you do have to keep in mind is that when you do sign up to open this checking account, they do a hard pull. So they run your credit. So if you don't want a lot of hard pulls on your account, you probably want to stay away from this. They actually, I'm not sure if they still have this at the time of filming this video, but during the summer of 2020, which is when I opened this account, they were running this promotion where they were not doing hard pulls for opening this account. And I think they did that kind of in response to the pandemic that was happening, and they wanted to cut people some slack. So I actually signed up for this checking account then, and I didn't get a hard pull. So definitely, if you're interested in it, go and check it out and see if they are still offering that. But I do think that it is a really great checking account to have. I don't keep any money in it. The purpose of this account is kind of to, whenever I do have you know, a trip coming up, I will transfer the money that I plan to spend during the trip to that checking account, and then I'll have it available on that debit card to use when I'm overseas. So yeah, guys, that is it for my, you know, bank account setup video. Let me know in the comments down below what banks you bank with, why you love them, and how it's helped you organize your finances. I hope you guys like this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.